In today's video, we are gonna take a look at my new case study on creating podcasts with AI tools. A secret I found is to use the ChatGPT code interpreter instead of the default ChatGPT. I'm gonna show you all about that. I use 11 Labs for my podcast voice. All episodes will be uploaded to Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Let's just take a look. Okay, so this is the plan I have for this case study. We're gonna keep it pretty simple. I'm only gonna spend about 2 hours each week. I'm gonna do one podcast episode per week on Spotify, Apple, and on YouTube. YouTube has to be converted into a video, but that is pretty simple. I'm gonna promote this podcast. That is my plan. I don't know exactly how yet. I'm gonna monitor the traffic, and I'm gonna iterate on the best performing data. Monetization options we have, not quite relevant yet, but we have ads and sponsors. I have not done a podcast with monetization before, so that's gonna be interesting. The goal is to build an audience, regular uploads. The timeline is 3 to 6 months. And I'm gonna do regular updates on this channel to see how this develops. And yeah, that is basically the plan for this case study. Okay, let's move on to how I am actually writing this podcast. So I just wanted to show you that I use the code interpreter instead of the default ChatGPT. This is because we have the option to upload files here, and I'm gonna show you a technique I use to kind of keep it in context all the way. This is a big prompt. I'm just gonna highlight some few stuff here. So we have, you're an excellent author, non-fiction writer, and expert in AI and philosophy. So I adjust that for every episode. You write in a style as Eliezer Yudkowsky and Yuval Noah Harari. That is just some people I like on this topic and take inspiration from their work. Your writing should be harness authentic narratives, thought-provoking questions. Yeah, it's a whole lot of things. You can pause if you want to read all this. First task is to start writing an outline for your solo podcast on what a world in the iron grip of AGI will look like. And you can see here, I have uploaded some notes about the development in AI in 22 and 23 you must read. So you can see, that is what I like about the code interpreter. So you can see I have some podcast notes here, just some things I wanted to spread in this episode. So I just put down in a text file, uploaded that, and then you can actually read it. I also have, this episode must be intriguing and engaging, aims to answer these questions in no distinct order. And here I put in a lot of questions I kind of wanted to answer in this episode. I also created that with GPT-4. I'm not going to go through that, but basically what kind of questions I want this podcast episode to answer and talk about. And the podcast episode should keep the audience hooked at all times. So here it's gonna go ahead and write the outline, right? So you can see we have a section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a conclusion. So that is basically gonna be the whole podcast. But I want to show you a trick I use here. So here you can see the introduction it wrote. I kind of liked it, so I decided to keep it. So what I do then is I just copy this instruction here. I create just a doc and I paste it in here. Then I'm just gonna copy all of this and create a new file here on Notepad. Just paste in all of this here. And then we can go back here and we can upload what we already have written. So you can see that was great. I've uploaded what you have written so far. First, read the full text I uploaded. Then write the next section in this style. Then we just print the prompt, we just feed in what section we wanted to write, and don't repeat the same phrases and terms you already written. And I just rinse and repeat it, and this way I always update the notes file, so we always have everything we have written in context, right? And by doing this, we kind of get like a whole full episode here. So you can see, here was the whole episode on a world in the iron grip of AGI. So how many words are these? 3,000. I think I wrote a 6,000 word episode with no problem. I could have just continued forever, I guess, because of this trick we use with the code interpreter to upload already the context we have. So that is basically how I write the episode. The next step is gonna be, of course, pretty simple. Let's say we have the introduction here. We just copy that, right? Paste it, go over to 11 Labs, and we select a voice we like. And we just paste in here and we generate, and then we can move on to Premiere Pro to compile all this together. And over here on Premiere Pro, it's pretty simple. All we have to do is align every single file we downloaded from 11 Labs into like a row. I also have an introduction here, so that's going to be kind of the staple for the podcast. So we can take a listen to that. And I just add some calm music in the background, very low, right? And you can see for YouTube, I have added subtitles, so I can download this as an MP3 and as a MP4, so we can use it on YouTube podcast. Let's just have a quick listen to the intro I created for this.
Welcome to the Think Big podcast, a journey into the profound and the perplexing, where curiosity meets contemplation. In a world filled with noise and haste, I invite you to pause and ponder, to explore ideas that challenge the mind and stir the soul. In today's episode, we journey into the complex labyrinth of artificial general intelligence.
Okay, so you get the point, and I have this kind of intro jingle here.
Take a seat and let your mind wander. Imagine, if you will, a labyrinth, not a mere maze of stone and...
Okay, so I thought that was quite cool, so I was pretty happy with that. So this is something you can use for every single episode, like the intro and this jingle, right? And then you continue into the episode. So it's pretty simple to do. It should only take me like 30-40 minutes to create a new episode. Of course, I have to do the writing and the converting and stuff, but it should be pretty quick. Okay, so of course the next step then is gonna be to upload the podcast we have created, and for this I use something called, it was previously anchor.fm, now it's podcasters.spotify.com. Very simple. All you have to do is like create an account here, click on new episode, just upload the episode, and then you can see like you get into this, then you can just add all of your name here, your title, your publish date, and you can just publish this. You even get an RSS feed. So you can see I have an RSS feed here. I can distribute to Apple Podcast and a whole bunch of other like Overcast and stuff. So it's very easy to use. And you can see I uploaded 4 episodes here. So one is 35 minutes, 14, 30, 23. So you can see we also get this Spotify page here. So this is the Think Big podcast. You can see I have uploaded 4 episodes yesterday. I kind of did all of them yesterday. Shouldn't we have a quick listen to one of those? Let's have a listen to this on time here and see how it plays on Spotify.
Welcome to the Think Big podcast, a journey into the profound and the perplexing. Imagine a raindrop caught in midair, a brief second where everything stands still and the world seems to hold its breath. The drop.
Yeah, that works fine. I actually listened to some of them on Spotify yesterday. It would be really great if you can go into this podcast here. I'm gonna leave the link in the description below and in the pinned comment, and have a listen to one of them and just give me something in the comments, like give it a rating from 1 to 10, or is it something I can iterate on? I know the content is not perfect, but I have some ideas how I can improve it even more, and just wanted to see what kind of the general consensus is about this. The content, at least, is it too repetitive? That's kind of my initial impression. But it will be very interesting to hear what you have to say about this. But we also have another thing. We have YouTube here. There's something called YouTube Podcast. So I created this page here. So I kind of turn everything into a video. Yeah, we can just have a listen to one of those. Let's just pull up this one here. Let's say this is going to be about free will.
Unravel the mysteries of human agency and determinism. So tune in, take a seat, and let your mind wander. Imagine for a moment that you're standing at a crossroads, both literally and metaphorically. To your left is a path that leads to a familiar destination. To your right, a journey into the unknown.
Yeah, so I just added some subtitles here. This is not it's not gonna be a video, but it's something you can listen to on like YouTube podcasts, or you can just have in the background with the subtitles. Of course, you could have made a video on top of this, but just to keep it simple, I'm just gonna do it like this and see how this develops. So we have 4 episodes already. So I'm just gonna see if we have 3 views on one. That's a bit strange, but yeah. And another thing we can do when we have this YouTube podcast is create these popular clips, right? So I just took some of the episodes we uploaded, I turned them into these short form clips. So let's have a look at one of them here.
In the age of artificial intelligence, the question of free will and consciousness transcends the boundaries of biology and ventures into the realm of machines. As algorithms become more sophisticated and neural networks mimic the structure of the human brain, we are compelled to ask, can a machine possess consciousness or free will?
So this is pretty simple, and you can get some traction with this. We're just gonna monitor that too. Kind of forgot to mention that in the case study plan. But I think this is a good idea. Make these clips from the longer podcast, and you got like reuse of content that is very helpful and easy to do. Okay, so that is what I had for the first episode in this case study. Of course, I'm gonna update it. If you want to learn more about it and go more into depth, let's say in the code interpreter, you can join the membership. I'm gonna be making some tutorials here on all aspects of this case study. Like I said earlier, it would be great if you just went into one of these podcasts on YouTube, or especially here on Spotify, and just had a listen, and maybe like give me a comment down below to see like what can I improve. Give it a rating, maybe like 1 to 10. If I get a lot of 2s and 3s, maybe I have to improve the content. Just be interesting to see what people think of how this turned out. It's gonna be exciting to see where this goes. Like I said, I'm only gonna spend a couple of hours each week producing one episode, and I'm gonna start promoting it. I'm also gonna do an episode of how I'm gonna do that. Is that gonna be on YouTube? Is that gonna be on Spotify? We'll just have to wait and see. So if this is something you're interested in, give this video a like, subscribe maybe, and I'll see you in the next one.